I love how this woman did this. She moved in with her boyfriend under certain conditions. Those conditions weren't met, and she's moving out. She says, am I the a-hole for breaking up and treating him like a stranger after he falsely promised marriage as a condition for living together? So she says she's 32, he's 34. My boyfriend and I have been together for 5 years. We talked about marriage since year 2. We put all our cards on the table, including deal breakers and expectations. We agreed to move in together on the condition of getting engaged. He told me that he would propose before the end of the year. My family was dead set against it. They said moving in without a ring on it was risky. I paid no ring and went ahead. Maybe she meant to say I had no ring and went ahead. It's been over 2 years, no engagement. There has been no proposal, and there's no ring. In the meantime, I've kept my word to be there for him as a partner. He lost his job, and I took on some extra work to cover our bills. He found a new job, and I coached him through problems with his new boss. His family has a history of conflict and are constantly creating bad situations for themselves. And I've done my best to help him solve their stuff without being too judgmental, because at the end of the day, it affects him. I've asked him about our engagement so many times that I feel like I'm begging. He has been vague and has asked to leave our conversation for another day because he's tired, and wedding planning would be exhausting. I've been direct and asked him if he's changed his mind. I need to know because he repeatedly said otherwise before renting a place, and I need to know where I stand. I'm not presumptuous. I don't need a fancy, expensive ring. I just need to know he meant his promise. We tried this conversation again, and he took it lightly. I tried again days later, and he looked annoyed when I'm just asking for a clear answer. He has postponed the proposal without a clear reason. What bothers me is that he was more open to it back when he felt vulnerable. I don't want to be with a man who will only mention marriage out of survival, and I told him. I asked him a few weeks ago, because I can't deal with the monosyllables, changing the subject, and general limbo. He snapped at me and said that a relationship is much more than a wedding and that I'm pressuring him. I swallowed my pride and reminded him that I loved him and that spending the rest of our lives together was all I wanted. He softened up and said to please understand that he loves me, but pressing the issue was hurting our relationship. I asked if that was a no. He said he never said that. I feel like a second-class person in his life, and I don't know how he can love me and ruin my trust. I found out that he won't buy me a ring, but he put $1,500 towards his younger brother's 30th birthday celebration, all while I'm covering a bit over 60% of our expenses. I confronted him directly, and he looked like he didn't know what to say. I ended up crying because he's changed so much that his efforts to help me celebrate my birthdays have gone out the door. He's given out money that he can't afford to spend, but I had to buy my own Sara Lee cake while trying not to make him self-conscious about spending. I decided to move out after feeling crushed and being convinced that he lied to me. Our lease ends on May 30th, and I told him that I'm leaving. He asked me many times if I'm 100% sure this is what I want, and I said I have no choice because he walked all over my dignity. I'm sleeping on the sofa because seeing him hurts a lot. He's tried to talk, but I'm afraid this will turn into another 2 years of me pouring myself into his needs, and he will just keep stringing me along. He asked if we could at least talk to the landlord and see if we could get a 3-month extension period, but I declined. He freaked out because his joint custody agreement included that he needed a place of his own because his ex hates his family and refused to allow their kids to spend extended periods with mother-in-law. I said, I'm sorry, but he just needs to get moving and find his own solution. I'm leaving Monday so that I can stay with my friend. I'm leaving Monday so I can stay with a friend. I don't care if I still have to pay for my remaining portion of the rent. I don't want to see him. He came to the living room because he wanted to talk and asked me if I would be comfortable moving on to someone else. I refused to answer and have been short with him because there's no way I can forgive him. To be fair, he does look drenched and emotionally disturbed by my decision. I've already blocked his entire family, and when he found out, I said I no longer have any obligation towards anyone on his side. He asked to talk about our relationship, and I asked to not interact because it makes me want to cry. Last night, he went to sleep on the futon next to where I'm sleeping and said he just wants to stay close because he will be crushed once I'm gone. I asked him to please go to the bedroom or I'll be forced to stay in the hotel. He says he understands my point of view, but that I'm treating him like, am I the a-hole? Absolutely not the a-hole. You set conditions in the very beginning. You talked about deal breakers. You talked about, your life and your future. He was future faking because he needed a person to help pay the rent while he had to get his custody situation together. So he said what needed to be said in the beginning, thinking that love would be enough to sustain the relationship, even if his side of the conditions weren't met. And I'm glad that he didn't take this as a point to say, you know what, let me go ahead and give her a shut up ring, because then that would have been a terrible way to be, because you would be pulling him along throughout the whole entire relationship and not a relationship where he was actively trying to be in it. This dude is going to end up in the Guy Cry subreddit next. He's going to be in the Guy Cry subreddit crying, please don't make my same mistakes. Please don't do this. Cherish the one that you're with, blah, blah, blah. Because he had it all clearly spelled out. She communicated and he's like, nope, I'm going to do whatever I feel like. But they think that they have a woman once they have one, but they don't have to do all of the things to maintain a relationship. These people are learning these days. So this is where I was tagged in. So she says, another man holding the engagement ring over his partner only to use her financially, emotionally, and legally to get custody of his kids. I feel very bad for OP because she was a stepping stone for him, and I'm glad she realized her self-worth and dignity and chose herself. Stop, look, listen, decide said, I wish I had your intelligence, strength, and balls 30 years ago. I don't like it when women use the word balls as far as courage goes. I really don't like that because it's not the same for us. And balls are kind of sensitive and not particularly strong. So I'm just putting that out there. She says, you go, girl. I'm married, but the rest of your story regarding the times you tried and he didn't, that was the marriage. And if you have to keep pulling someone along, even if you do get the ring and get married, you will always be pulling that person along. And here's the OP saying, I'm sorry this happened to you. Specific anxiety says, not the a-hole. Don't waste another minute or ounce of energy on this loser. The fact that he wasn't ready to commit after 2 years was a red flag. You didn't see it, and that's okay. But it's time to move on. You'll meet Mr. Right. It'll happen when you least expect it, and you both will know. I met my husband, and I had been in a series of crappy relationships, including one short marriage. I didn't meet my husband until I was 35 years old. We both knew within a matter of months that we wanted to get married. That was in 1991. We've been married for more than 30 years and are happier than ever. And it will happen or it won't happen. And women need to learn and understand how to stay single, because single is better than this. Not the a-hole. He's crushed as he will no longer get more than half of his rent paid for him and a free nanny when his children visits. This isn't about you. He was happy knowing he was breaking the relationship until he realized it will affect his parental court order. Not your problem anymore. And next time he tries to sleep next to you, tell him you either sleep on the couch or in the bed, but neither will be with him in the same room. If you have to lock the door somehow to be left alone, you will do so. That he doesn't get to act hard done to and broken now when he hasn't given a damn about how he's hurt you for many years. So that's it. He's broken now because he's panicking like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And his problem solver isn't there anymore. So there you have it. Absolutely not the a-hole, but I do want y'all to go ahead and chime in. This man no longer has his bang-made wife appliance, girlfriend appliance, because it wasn't a wife, girlfriend appliance, and now he's freaking out. I definitely believe that we'll see this type of conversation go on in guy cry from the guy's point of view. And that's the reason why I relish in these tears, because they know what their partner expected and they're like, nope, I'm not going to do it. And then they go whining about it later. Anyways, join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.